ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपादं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्म पादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Hari Om, salutations to all. So in the Sambandha Bhashya that Shankaracharya ji has written, we have seen that he spoke about the sadhana Anubandha Chatushtaya, the four requirements before we start the study of a text so that we benefit maximum from the text. So Adhikari is the student or the reader who is eligible to study the text. Vishaya is the subject matter of the text. Prayojan is what is the purpose and the end which one wants to achieve. And Sambandha is whether this study of this text, this Vishaya of this text, will fulfill that Sambandha. So if I want to understand physics, then I should take up a book of physics, and suppose my goal is to understand whatever, quantum physics. Then I have to take up those books. I should have a background of the basic physics. Then I am eligible. Vishaya of that book is quantum physics. My prayojan is to understand quantum physics. So the Sambandha will be that a study of this book will lead to that prayojan. If I take a chemistry book and I want to understand quantum physics, that prayojan, that Sambandha is not established. So the prayojan will not be served. Same way, I want to understand the self, then the pramana for that is Shabda Pramana, the valid means of knowledge, which is Vedanta. Vedanta Nama Upanishad Pramanam. So Shankaracharya says that the Anubandha Chatushtaya, which is generally in Vedanta, is what is applicable here also. And so in the earlier satsang, we have seen that. So I won't go into the elaboration of that. Now, where he said is, where we had stopped is that this world which we see appears very real to us because of ignorance. When I don't know who am I, then that misconception happens, misunderstanding happens, misapprehension is there, ki I am the BMI, and then this world appears real. So the student who wants not just relief in the samsara, wants the cure, wants to get out of this delusion once and for all. That is called a Dvaita Prapanchasya Avidya Kritatvat Vidyaya Tad Upashamaha Syat. So the knowledge of the self is that which will help the person to wake up. The dream world appears very real till one is in the dream. And so the dream joy, dream sorrows are very real to us. From that dream sorrow, I want some relief. So I may do some, take some steps, some methods I may take up, like how one goes for some spa treatment or some travel or some entertainment, anything which will help me to just relax, get out of the stress of the mind. But that's a relief method, and nothing wrong with seeking any relief method. But if I'm stuck only with relief methods, same challenges will keep coming in different forms. So this Dvaita Prapancha one has to wake up from. If I wake up from the dream, then I realize, this was not even true. This was such an illusion. That is the only method to get rid of the dream sorrows once and for all. I don't say, but again tomorrow night, tonight when I sleep, I will dream. That's a limitation of example. So, Dvaita Prapanchasya Avidya Kritatvat. Now, when one wakes up, what one realizes, there is only one Brahman, one truth. The waker alone is. Everything that one perceived was only the waker's mind. But one did not identify with that. One identified with one dream character in the dream. So there is the duality. That dream character is me, I am the Jiva. Dream world is the Jagat. Dream creator is Ishvara. And these three are different. And in the Jagat, there are so many beings. That sense of reality we have given to duality, that reality has to be removed. That is called Dvaita Prapancha Upasham. That is because of ignorance. This whole body is me, but if I say no, only head is me, these are all other things. That is ignorance. Same way, this entire creation is one. So even in the body, if you see, we may say parts are different, but they operate as one whole. For our understanding, we may divide them into parts, upper body, lower body, left side, right side, all that we may do. Then we do specialization in that so that we understand it better. But otherwise, the body functions as a whole. Anything happens in one part of the body affects the whole body. Your stomach is upset, whole body will be affected. Your head is paining, whole body will be affected. So, in the same way, if we think that this whole world is different from us, and that's the cause of so much of exploitation and misery and suffering that people go through. The root cause is this, the sense of difference. Oneness we don't see. Advaita is to see oneness, that there is no duality. Where are others? Which is what here it says, that the yatrava anyad iva syat. If you see the other, then there is selfishness, then there is insecurity, then there is exploitation, then there is superiority. All that will happen. Because the identification is with the limited. But if I see oneness, that all of us are one, and from which standpoint? From all standpoints. That is called Advaita. Please remember, Advaita is not that only consciousness is one, and you are that consciousness. That is the highest state, no doubt. There is nothing to talk. But Advaita is to help us to see oneness in everything that we, at all levels. How is oneness at all levels, Swamiji? See, body is made up of what? 5 elements. Gross 5 elements. Space, air, fire, water, earth. This body is made up of gross 5 elements. So this thermos also, and this book also, the dog also, the cat also, the tree also, everything is made up of 5 elements. So at matter level, where is the difference? Science also is telling us today. If you go at the subatomic level or even still further, that string and quark and all that, it is a field, that's all. It is one homogeneous field. Where is the difference? There is no difference. Matter level also. Prana level, there is no difference. All the prana in the world is made up of the same thing. Each one's prana, each jiva's prana is made up of the same. Samashti prana is one only. All the subtle bodies are made up of 5 subtle elements. Tanmatras, what we call them. Sense faculties are made up of this same 5 tanmatras. Then where is the difference coming from? Causal body. And what is causal body? Ignorance and vasana. We don't know who we are, hence that vasana is there to identify with something which I am not and then seek happiness from something outside. That is only creating that apparent difference. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, the play of 3 gunas, so 3 types of vasanas. Then all the permutations and combinations. Otherwise, raw material is same, consciousness is same, no difference. At whichever level I can see oneness, I am living Advaita. And from that level, I have to rise higher. Because Dvaita is illusory. And when we say Dvaita is illusory, it does not mean that one will stop seeing the world. One will still see the world. Like we see the sky, it appears as blue, but it is not blue. We know it. But the perception can't change because that's a limitation of the senses. What is not having a boundary appears as blue. Now what to do? That is a limitation of the eye. It is not at all blue. But one who understands science will say the reality one has given to it is not there in the head anymore. If I don't give reality to something, it will not affect me. Even mentally, if you see, that will apply. We give reality to our desire, so the desire binds us. We give reality to our attachment, so the attachment binds us. It's not the person binding us. We have given reality to that, saying that without this person, I can't be happy. And without this person behaving in a particular way, I can't be happy. Now that importance we have given in the head, and now that makes us happy or sorrow or miserable. Because we have given the reality. See, my happiness equal to this. If we change that here, nothing. That person may do whatever, nothing will affect. That's just a simple example at mind level. Same way at Advaitic level, we see we have given reality saying I am this body and this body is real and the sorrow of this body is my sorrow, the pleasure of this body is my pleasure. Now this is real, so world is also real. Now God is also, God is doubtful, not very real in that sense for many people. One doesn't come to conclusion, but then one studies properly, then one will understand, of course there has to be an ultimate cause. So then God is real. These 3, we have given that reality to it. And so that reality we have given is creating our experiences. What is Vedanta saying? Remove the reality you have given. Perception will still be there. You will still see people, but you know that we are one. No difference. So that is called Dvaita Upashama. Now that's where he says ki where one sees oneness, one who sees only oneness. So that's where we had stopped. Yatrava asya sarvatmaiva sarvatma atma eva abhut tat kena kam pashyet kena kam vijaniyat. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 2.4.14. And like this, there are so many Shrutis which speak only about oneness, where they very clearly encourage us to understand that the perception of duality is not the problem. The reality we have given to the duality is the problem. Vedanta will remove that reality and make us understand what is truly real. The duality is not real. The basis of the duality, that is real. That substratum is Atma, that is real. And so, having said this now, Shankaracharya now goes on to explain how the four prakaranas of this Mandukya Karika, Upanishad plus Karika, Upanishad has only 12 mantras. The Karika is into 4 chapters. How this Karika will lead to the experience of non-duality. And consequently, because of that, the cure, not relief, cure from this disease of samsara, cure from the reality we have given to the duality. See, deficiencies there now in our body. Vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, sub, all some or the other deficiency keeps happening. So we have to take supplement. Like that, for the mind, there is vitamin V. What is vitamin V? Vedant. Super deficient. This B12 deficiency, D3 deficiency, how it is there, no? What you call that in natural way. Naturally, vegetarians will be having deficiency of B12 and D3. Like that, naturally, every jiva is having deficiency of vitamin V. So this perception is duality. How in that B12, D3, if you have less, then what happens? Feel drowsy, sleepy, no energy only. Bone is also weak. Whatever, calcium absorption is also not happening. All kinds of problems. Same way, vitamin V deficiency is there. What is one is appearing as many. And then fear, sorrow, anger, greed, insecurity, jealousy, excitement, oh ho ho, all. Then you take vitamin V, then you see, huh? Everything disappeared. There's no fear, no anger, nothing. There's only one truth, absolute Brahman. Wow. That is Advaita Vedanta. So call it vitamin V, call it vitamin AV, whatever you want to call it. Call it. AV is a proper word because Vedanta is, it has Dvaita Vedanta also, Vishishta Advaita Vedanta also. Better to call vitamin AV. AV deficiency has to be removed. So how does this four remove? Now that is the next portion which he takes up. In the Sambandha Bhashya, if you see, it is fourth paragraph. Tatra tavad omkara nirnayaya pratamam prakaranam agama pradhanam atma tattva pratipatti upaya bhutam. So for what he says that to ascertain omkar, because the mantra is using omkar, the 12 mantras, they will take omkar as the model to elaborate this knowledge of the self. So how is this omkar going to lead to realization of Advaita? To explain that, omkara nirnayaya prathama prakaranam, the first prakarana, which includes the mantra plus karika on the mantra, that is being elaborated. And what is that prakarana called? Agama pradhanam. So agama literally means that which has come. Gam, gam gachati is the basic root word. So agam, so gachati means to go. Agachati, a is the upasarga, prefix. When we add a, the meaning will change. So gam gachati to go, agachati to come. Same way, agam. Agam means what? What has come to us. Acha, what has come to us? What does that mean? What has come to us? Agam. What has been passed on traditionally to us, having been revealed, is one meaning of agam. Means the Veda. what has not been written by human being. It is not a composition of human being. Veda is Anadi, Apaurusheya, Ananta. That much basic we should know. And Veda is our foundation. The foundation books, Veda is not book actually, it is knowledge, but it is compiled in the form of books for us to understand. So the foundation of Sanatana Dharma is Veda. Bhagavad Gita, Puranas, Upanishad, Itihasa, these are all expressions of the Veda. The same knowledge of the Veda presented in simpler formats for us to understand are these. So what has come to us, meaning it's a divine revelation, apaurusheya, not a human composition. That knowledge is called agama. And this prakarana is called agama prakarana. Why? Because this prakarana is meant for, and this prakarana is specifically handling those 12 mantras of the Upanishad which are a part of the Veda. Upanishad mantra is what the 12 mantras. It is what is revealing the Advaitic knowledge. Karikas are only elaborating and making that more clear. So the first prakarana is called as the Agama prakarana. And so Agama in this context has two meanings. One is it is the Veda itself which is revealed, which has come to us, meaning the rishis who are quiet, contemplative, to them it's a divine revelation. And which is why Veda mantras, if you see, they will have a rishi, a devata, a chanda, bija, kilakam, shakti, all that. Those are specifically meant for sadhana, upasana, or even, some rituals. And some of them can be used for contemplation also. Like Om Namah Shivaya, if we say, then that Om Namah Shivaya can be used for japa also, as well as you can use that mantra to do contemplation. So we say Vamadeva, Vasishta, Kahola, they are the rishis to whom the mantra is revealed at different points in time. And so these are Vedic mantras. So this is the knowledge which has come. It is revealed as it is. It is not written by them in their language. The mantra is revealed as it is with intonations. And there are various ways by which the intonations are preserved because the knowledge was traditionally passed on orally. So how to preserve the intonation? See, you and I, when we chant, we chant anyhow. Many times Vedic intonations also we don't follow. Imagine a whole generation, just one generation of people don't follow the intonations, it is gone. No? Next generation will not know. And Vedic mantras are signs of sound. It is Shabda, Rashi. So it will create vibration. When you pronounce a sound in a particular way, it will create particular vibration, particular mood in the mind. So that intonations are very powerful. They maintained it through various ways. Samhita Patha, Krama Patha, Ghana Patha, like that. There are different methods of Patha, of chanting. So if you see now, and there's pattern in that to maintain that intonation. So Gananam Tva, suppose is the mantra. Then there will be Ghana Patha of Gananam Tva. Om Ganana Tva 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 Ganana, like that it will go. Mantra, 2 words, repetition, again next 2 words, repetition, like that. There's a pattern. Each patha has its own method. So when there's a doubt in intonation, they will call the Ghanapati. Ghanapatha is the highest level of patha. Samhita patha and Krama patha, like that there are 8. 8th one is Ghanapatha. They will call the Ghanapati, you chant now. And through that they will correct if there are any intonation errors that people are making, they will correct all that. This traditionally has been coming down to us, that is called Agama. And this knowledge which was in oral form, then Veda Vyasji compiled it in written form. Even in written form, there will be so many mistakes, so many challenges when we make, today we have all these Xerox machines and printing press and all that. Earlier it is writing, seeing and writing, and manually the copies are made. So, all this, our ancestors have put in so much of effort to preserve this knowledge. In spite of all so many invasions, attacks, burning of our libraries, Gurukul, so much has happened. Still, this knowledge we have. So, this has come to us. That's why the word Agama is very loaded. It's not just, okay, Veda is there, Veda is a Paurusheya. That is true, no doubt, and that's very important. It is not human creation, so it doesn't have flaws of human thinking. People have misused it, that is their problem. Agama by itself is having a certain principle and certain revelation which is eternal. And this Agama Shastra has come down to us through the oral tradition, through the written tradition now, and to preserve, protect, propagate it, so much sacrifice people have done. So this Agama is the first prakaran, which will reveal what? Omkar. Omkara Nirnayaya. To understand what is the Swarupa of Omkar and how this will lead to Advaitic realization. The first prakarana is for that. Omkara prakaranam agama pradhanam atma tattva pratipatti upaya bhutam. Atma tattva, to experience is atma tattva. Very beautiful is the difference between prapti and pratipatti. So what is the meaning of prapti? Prapti means what I don't have. To get that is called prapti. Suppose I don't have money. Now I worked hard and I earned money. So that is called prapti. I did not have money before, now I have money. Dhan ki prapti hui. So anything which is objective, which is other than the subject, which the subject doesn't have, which I don't have, which I will now obtain, that is called prapti. Pratipatti means what? It is already with me, I have to only discover it through knowledge. That is called pratipatti. Atma Tattva, that's why the Shankaracharya's words are very powerful. When he writes the Bhashya, it is so precise. The words that he uses are so precise and powerful that if we contemplate on those words, we will know the truth. Not one, and the word will not be just casually used. Very, what is the exact word I can say? It will be most appropriate word for that, and it will reveal the deeper meaning. If one knows the deeper meaning, like prapti and pratipatti. Pratipatti, one can just say, obtain. But how to obtain? It is not something which has to be obtained, which I don't have now. It is already with me. I don't know it. And so in pratipatti, it is the word prati is upasarga. It means pratyag, atma tattva, which is already here. Here matlab in the, as the self, is all pervasive truth. But it is already our nature. That revelation has to happen, that's all. Only that realization through knowledge has to happen ki Are, Atma is my Swarupa and I am Atma Brahma. This Atma is that Brahman, it is nature of Satchidanand. So that pratipatti is this. So Akhandanandji says that so nicely, that he says that अपने हृदय में आत्मा में जो उपलब्धि हो वह प्रत्यग का अर्थ है भीतर, जो बाहर दिखता है वो पराक. What is outside is parak. It is other than me. Pratyag is Atma. That's why I say Pratyag Atma. So many places the word Pratyag Atma is used. Pratyag Atma, Atma itself is Pratyag actually. But when we say pratyak, it means this self, inner self. And hence pratipatti. So he has used the word pratipatti, atma tattva pratipatti upaya bhutam. And this, so in three words now, prapti, we have seen what I don't have to attain, that is prapti. Pratipatti is to realize what I already have and to know that I am that self, and Om will reveal that self to us. That is Advaita. In Bhakti, they have Prapatti, Prapti, Pratipatti, and Prapatti. Sounds like some tongue twister. Na? Prapti, Pratipatti, Prapatti. Keep saying that fast. Prapti, Pratipatti, Prapatti. It will become a nice tongue twister. So Pratipatti means what? Sharanagati and Pratipatti, they will say in Bhakti Shastra. If you see in the seventh verse of the second chapter of the Gita, the word there used by Arjun is Prapatti. Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. He says, I am your Shishya, please instruct me. I have taken your refuge. Prapannam. So what is the difference between Prapatti and Sharanagati? Sharanagati is where I am holding on to Bhagwan's feet. Prapatti is where Bhagwan's feet are on my hand. Bhagwan is holding me. It is not my responsibility. Bhagwan's responsibility is to take me across. So that is Prapatti, where one has surrendered and says, Bhagwan, now you please instruct me. Full, complete. My effort also I have surrendered. Now I am fully dependent only on you, Prapatti. It's not that a person become lazy. Of course, Bhagwan didn't tell Arjun, okay, now that you have done Prapatti, now I will touch you and you will realize. He gave the whole knowledge, and Arjun also thought and asked questions and came to his conclusion. But that Kartritva Bhav, one surrender, saying, Bhagwan, now I am at your feet, completely surrendered. So that is called Pratipatti, that is called Prapatti. That also leads to Advaita realization only. But that is Bhakti Marg. This is the Jnana Marg. Through knowledge, one will realize. So he says this Omkar will reveal this truth. Pratipatti Upaya Bhutam. So this is the first Prakarana, which is the Agama Prakarana. Now what is the second Prakarana? Dvaita Prapanchasya Upashame Advaita Pratipatti Rajvam Iva Sarpadi Vikalpo Upashame Rajju Tattva Pratipatti Tasya Dvaitasya Hetuto Vaitachya Pratipadanaya Dvitiyam Prakaranam. So what is the second Prakarana for? Second Prakarana is called Vaitathya Prakarana. Vaitathya Prakarana is for what? Dvaita Upashama. This reality which we have given to duality, that reality has to go. See, the Uttam Adhikari, for that person, the mantra which reveals that Mahavakya, I am Atma Brahma, is enough to realize the truth. Or even the seventh mantra, where it will say that the most important mantra of the whole Upanishad is that one particular mantra. न अंत प्रज्ञम न बहिष प्रज्ञम न उभयत प्रज्ञम न प्रज्ञान घनम न अप्रज्ञम न प्रज्ञम न अप्रज्ञम, like that whole mantra for the Uttam Adhikari, that is enough. Then why these four books are written? These four books are four chapters. They are for elaborating this more and more and to clear all the confusions and doubts. So the second Prakarana is called Vaitathya Prakarana. Vaitathya Prakarana means what? The world as it appears to us is not as it is. Tatha means as or so how it is. Vitatha means not as it is. So we are seeing, let us say, this whole world. This whole world is appearing inert to us. The objects specifically, they are appearing inert to us, but actually they are not inert. They are appearance of consciousness only. Our sensory limitations are making us think this is inert, this is sentient. Subtle body is there in this, subtle body is not there in this. So at one level, that is true. But at the deeper level, it is only appearance of one consciousness. There is no difference. So what is appearing as jada to us is actually Chaitanya. What is appearing perishable is actually imperishable. What is appearing changing is actually changeless. So the whole world is appearing to us opposite. What is nothing but bliss is appearing as cause of sorrow to us. Hence, this prakarana is called Vaitatya prakarana. And what will happen in this? The difference that we see, the duality, the reality, what we have given to duality, that has to be removed. So in this Vaitatya prakarana, what happens? The knowledge which is given of this, the elaboration of 12 mantras happens in first prakarana itself. Second, third, fourth prakarana don't have Upanishad mantras in them. But each of those mantras in the second, third, fourth chapter are all bound to the main Upanishad mantra only. So we should not think they are independent, separate books which has nothing to do with this main Upanishad. No, it is elaborating that same Advaita Tathya. The prayojan is Dvaita Upashama. The reality we have given has to be removed. So using logic, why this world is not real, why Atma Tattva alone is truth, how there is only oneness, that is the second prakarana, which is Vaitatya prakarana. Then if somebody says, oh, this is not real, then what is the truth? It is some nothingness. So he says, no, no, no. Third prakarana is that Tatha Advaitasyapi Vaitatya Prasanga Praptau Yuktihi Tatha Tattva Darshanaya Tritiyam Prakaranam. Second prakarana gives lot of yukti, logic. Why the world is not real? Somebody thinks spirituality is illogical or beyond logic, or they proudly say, I am scientific, not spiritual. As though spirituality is against science. Spirituality is beyond science. It is using logic plus it goes beyond logic. Science has limitation because science depends only on perception. Spirituality has gone beyond perception. It takes into consideration perception and goes to the substratum which is behind this perception, which is more subtler, more deeper. And what should one be proud of? Advait Vedanti. One says I am Advait Vedantin. If I am one says I am a spiritual person. This is the land which has discovered the inherent oneness behind the apparent duality. So if a person does not understand properly, then one says all this. I am scientific, not spiritual. As though spirituality, because they have limited spirituality either to escapism or to some ritual or to some blind faith. Nothing called blind faith, but blind belief. And so one repeats like a parrot. Understand what is true spirituality. Spirit is Atma, is one. And that is the substratum. So when the duality, the reality we have stopped giving, what will be the experience? The third prakarana is Advaita. So using logic again, the Advaitic principle is elaborated. That what is Advaita, what is Satchidananda, how it is the self, which is our nature, all that is explained. So second and third also use logic. Not also. Second and third use logic. Huh? Second, yukti. What is the word he uses? Yukti. So yukti is used to negate the reality we give to the world, and yukti is used to establish the reality in of Advaita. Why this yukti is used? To give us intellectual conviction. If the yukti is not used, and if some statement is just made without being without logical proof, it can't be accepted in our Sanatan Dharma. Just because Agama. See the power and see the beautiful aspect here. First prakarana is Agama prakarana. What has come to us? What has come to us is a revelation, no doubt. But why is it true? Why should I believe that? That logic is there. So first prakarana is Shruti. Second, third prakarana is Yukti. Fourth prakarana will be Anubhuti, where all the contrary viewpoints will be exposed by the flaw in their own thinking, not even using Advaita to destroy them. In their own thinking, there is a flaw. You expose that, they will be put aside. That is called Alata Shanti Prakarana. So that is the fourth one. Advaitasya tathatva pratipatti pratipaksha bhutani yani vadani vadantarani avaidikani tesham अन्योन्य विरोधित्वाद अतथार्थत्वेन तदुपपत्ति भी एव निराकरणाय चतुर्थम प्रकरणम. This Chaturtha Prakarana is to bring out all those all those darshanas, all those philosophies, all those schools of thought which are apparently against Advaita, when we reveal their limitation and also see how they are contradicting each other. Through this process, all the dualistic schools of thought will get negated by themselves by exposing their own limitations and how they contradict each other. What will remain? Anubhuti, Advaita alone. Again, this is for conviction. Once the clarity is there, then one contemplates. So our Shastra says Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti. These are the three valid means of knowledge. Meaning, if something is proved by all the three, Shruti, Yukti and Anubhuti. Shruti is that revealed knowledge, Yukti is logic, Anubhuti is experience. As of now, Shruti, we understand, is this Upanishad revelation. And Upanishad itself has logic. Don't think Upanishad by mantras by themselves don't have logic. They have. Which is why the great masters have elaborated that. Shankaracharya elaborates in Bhashya. Then Karikakar Gaudapadacharya also has written in his commentary. It is logic of the Veda, the Vedas only. So it is Shruti, then Yukti, but they have elaborated it using our terminology in examples which you and I can understand. And once we are convinced that yes, Advaita only is the truth, this is only apparent, this is not real. Mohana Swamiji, this is very, very real. That study Advaita Vedanta, reflect, then one will understand how Advaita alone is the truth. Everything else is illusory. And this is not to put down, this is not some intellectual debate saying my mata is greater, yeah, your mata is lesser, I have defeated your mata. It is not at all that. People get stuck in all that. Advaita is beyond all mata, by the way. It is tattva. It is beyond all logic, beyond all thought processes, beyond all things which are finite. So where the question of saying that Advaita is superior, these are inferior. There is no such superiority, inferiority, nothing. We are stuck in the reality we have given to duality. That is the root cause of our sorrow. That has to be removed. Thorn has gone inside my head, inside my leg. This much big thorn has gone inside my leg, paining excruciatingly, bleeding. Now, what will I do? Will I sit and analyze from where this thorn has come? How did it go inside? What are the methods to remove this thorn? Is this method better? Is that method better? In these two, which is the supreme method? अरे भाई दुख रहा है, निकालो उसको. That removal, one who is interested in that removal. That's why the analogy he has given is of this roga, disease. I have to remove the sorrow. The cause of my sorrow is avidya. I am interested in removal of avidya. I am not interested in some tarka and some vada and vivada and Advaita. Shankaracharya ji, when he says he established the glory of Advaita, we should remember this very clearly, that this glory of Advaita is established for us to be convinced, so that we become aware of our sorrow and we remove it, get out of it. The cause of our sorrow once and for all, dukkha nivritti, atyantika dukkha nivritti. It is for that. It is not some kind of intellectual debate. So as of now, Shruti and Yukti is there, and we use the Anubhuti, Anubhava of so many great masters to understand. Plus we use some of our Anubhava also to come to analyze waking, dream, deep sleep, and then okay, how is Atma not the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, all that. Finally, it is to come to Advaita Anubhava only, that I am Brahman. Then what will happen? This roga is cured. Then one sees only oneness. So these are the four prakaranas, and the purpose of these four prakaranas is to understand this truth, to come to realize this truth as my nature. It is not some intellectual argument. Many people think like that. It is this mata has said this is the Jain mata, this is the Bauddha mata, this is the Sankhya mata, this is Mimamsaka mata, this is that Vaisheshika mata, and this is Advaita mata. We are not getting, we don't have to get stuck in any of these matas. We have to only realize the truth, which is beyond all mata. But to realize that truth, we need to hold on to one, which reveals that truth to us. Advaita is that which reveals the absolute oneness. Again, I am saying, those who are interested in absolute oneness, they are the adhikari for this Advaitic knowledge. If somebody is interested in Dvaita, please study other scriptures. This is not the means for Dvaita. Study the other scriptures which will help to develop bhakti for Ishvara, and then the Dvaita understanding of mukti, what we saw in the earlier satsangs. Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, all those types of mukti, Sarshti, these are all different types of mukti. Study those scriptures which will lead to that. This is Advaita. One who has understood very clearly ignorance is the root cause of my sorrow. I need to remove that. To remove that, these four prakaranas are helpful. And through Omkar, this will be done now. So now, having explained about the four prakaranas in brief, he has given the overview in the Sambandha Bhashya. Now, he goes on to say that how is it that by doing the dissection of Omkar, Akara, Ukara, Makara, so how is it that by elaborating on Omkar, Advaita will be realized? That portion he says now. Katham punar Omkara nirnaya Atma Tattva Pratipatti Upayatvam Pratipadyate iti uchyate. How is it that Omkar will lead to realization of Advaita? So what Shankaracharya ji has done here is, he has now given quotations from different scriptures about Omkar to make us aware that how this Mandukya Upanishad, what it is saying about Omkar, is not just this Upanishad which is saying. In many Upanishads, this is the method which has been used. And what is the Swarupa Omkar? Just brief, small portions of different Upanishads he has taken now to elaborate. So first he says from the Kathopanishad, Om Ityetat, Kathopanishad 1.2.15. So what is this Om Ityetat? So all of us know that Nachiketa was sent to his, Nachiketa's father, uh, Vajashrava. He was doing this Vishwajit sacrifice, Yajna, by which one will go to Swarga. In that sacrifice, you are supposed to give away everything that you have. Everything. But the father was giving away only old, dilapidated, weak cows. Dugdha doha nirindriya is a word used there. Pitodaka jagdha trina dugdha doha nirindriya. You should listen to Gurudev talking on this. The cows who have been milked means all the milk is out. Now that cow can't reproduce, no milk it can produce. It has become so weak. Dugdha doha. Then Pita Udaka. It is so weak, it doesn't even have the ability to bend down and drink water. And Gurudev will elaborate, he dramatizes it so much, and he will say, they are living because they don't even have the energy to die. Such cows which have become very old, Pita Udaka, Jagdatrana, they have eaten grass and now they don't have any capacity to digest grass. All milk, Dugdha Doha, Nirindriya, their senses also have become very dull, can't see properly, can't hear properly. Such cows he is giving away in charity. And he is keeping all the good cows with him. So Nachiketa said, why is he doing this? Because he is attached to me. And why is he giving away all these old and not following the Shastra? And he is very attached to me. So Nachiketa goes and asks, Nachiketa, Shankaracharya says, is Kaumara. He is not even, he has not attained the puberty. He cannot, there is no reproductive capability in him. He is so young, but Uttamadhikari. That why is my father compromising in Shastra? If you do a ritual, if you don't do it appropriately, it will not give the result that you want. So he goes to his father and he says, oh father, whom will you give me? Father thinks, what is a small boy asking? Irrelevant question. Ignores. But that question is well thought of, that all this you are saving for me and you are attached to me. You are supposed to give everything away. Then whom will you give me? Meaning, for what are you saving all this and keeping? You want to go to heaven, no? Why are you not following the scripture? Now he doesn't say like this, but that's the thought process. For the benefit of the father only he is asking. So that father can be shaken up from his attachments. 3 times he asks. Father says, I will give you to Lord of Death. Nityave tvam dadami. I will give you to Lord of Death. Now, father has said, father is a rishi. So he says, okay, I will go. He goes to the abode of death, Yamraj. Yamraj is not there. 3 days, 3 nights he waits outside for Yamraj. Then Yamraj comes. And Yamraj gives him 3 boons. In that 3 boons, first one he asks for Agni Vidya, Agni Chayan Vidya, by which one can do ritual and go to heaven. First one actually he asks for the father to become quiet. First one he asks for the father to become quiet, and father should recognize him when he goes back, and he should be loving, and he should be forgiven for all the wrong he has done, all that. Second, he asks for Agni Vidya, by which one can attain heaven. By the third one, he asks for Atmajnana. What is that which is beyond death. He is standing in front of Yamaraj. So obviously he is not asking about what is the whether life is there after death or not. He is asking what is that state which one will experience when one transcends identification with the BMI. Is it blank? Is it the state of fullness? What is that? He is not asking about life after death. He is asking about what is that supreme state. While revealing that, Nachiketa was given so many options and so much temptation, sense enjoyments of the earth, wealth, power, position, long life, young body, everything. He didn't accept. All the pleasures of heaven and everything again, he didn't accept. And he tells Yamraj, you keep all these with you, they are perishable. Anyway, I will also, however long life it will be, it will come to an end. You please keep all this, give me only that which I have asked. Then Yamraj starts giving knowledge about Shreyas, Preyas, all that. Nachiketa says, tell me what you experience, don't give me theory. Anyatra dharmad, anyatra dharmad, anyatra asmat kritat kritat, anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha, yat tat pashyasi tad vada. Tell me what you experience, that state, don't give me theory. Then Yamaraj reveals through Omkar. Sarve Vedaha Yat Padam Amananti. All the Vedas, they glorify what state? Yat Padam Amananti. Remember the word Padam. Omkar in its ultimate is the state of consciousness. Omkar is not just a sound. That is one means to come to that state. So Sarve Vedaha Yat Padam Amananti. Tapamsi Sarvani cha Yad Vadanti. All the great rishis, sadhaks, they are doing tapas. For what state? That state is Omkar. Yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti. And desiring which people live in brahmacharya. They live in sense control. They live in contemplation on Brahman. That is called brahmacharya. Brahmani charititi brahmachari. Tatte padam sangrahena bravimi omiti etat. That's what is written here. Omiti etat. That state I will tell you in brief. So Omkar is first and foremost the supreme state of consciousness. It is not a sound. It is not just a uma. It is state. To discover that state, our mind must be contemplative, quiet, pure. So Omkar is also an alambanam. So in Kathopanishad only, another place he will say, Etad alambanam shreshtam, etad alambanam param. This is the supreme alambanam. And holding on to this, one will come to that highest state. So two levels. Omkara is the state of consciousness which is Brahman, which is Atma. And Omkar is that sound symbol using which the mind can be made quiet. So these are two quotations of Kathopanishad. Om ityetad and etad alambanam. Kathopanishad 1.2.17. For today, I will stop here. There are other Upanishad quotations which are given, and then he will go on to the main mantra will begin. So for today, we will stop here. You can go through the commentary and reflect upon it. We will continue in June. Any questions? Okay, pratipatti, prapatti, and yeah, clarify the difference. Okay. So prapti is to attain what is not attained, what I don't have. That is prapti. When I get something which I don't have, I put efforts, I get it. That is prapti, I have obtained. Pratipatti is what I already have, I have to only discover it. This mic is already on my this kurta. Now I am searching everywhere. Where is the mic? Where is the mic? Where is the mic? Somebody says, Swamiji, it is there on your kurta. Now I didn't do anything to get it. It is already there. I just discovered, oh, this is, that is called pratipatti. In pratipatti, that's why the word prati there means inside, atma, pratyag atma. So in pratipatti, there is a discovery. In prapti, there is obtaining. And prapatti is taking refuge, where one is fully surrendered to Bhagwan. Depends only on Bhagwan. If Bhagwan gives mukti, I get mukti. Bhagwan says, you remain here, I remain here. If Bhagwan says, take birth, take birth. Jahi vidhi rakhe ram, tahi vidhi rahiye. So that is that is prapatti. So there is a difference. What to read from the books, references as we listen to the recording. Read all these, what we have discussed now. So read this Kathopanishad, the mantra numbers are mentioned there. So read that Kathopanishad. Read the very Bhashya itself, no? The Sambandha Bhashya, which is there in this Gita Press book, and the translation which is there. Read that and reflect. And I have said before also, Mandukya Pravachan by Swami Akhandanandji. Read. What I am saying is just 5%, 10% from here. So much of depth is there in this. So read all this, then you will get to know more details. Is Prapatti higher than Sharanagati? In that sense, yes, it is higher. Because in Sharanagati, I have taken refuge, but my effort is still there. In Prapatti, full, like what Bhagavan says, na, that Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja, when he says you take my refuge, that is the Jiva has to put an effort to take refuge. But in Prapatti, full Ananyas Chinta, Ananya Bhav that Jiva is, Ananyas Chintayantam. So that Bhav one will come into, that I don't depend on my sadhana also. I depend purely on Bhagwan. Bhagwan only is supreme. If Bhagwan wants to keep me in bondage, he will keep. If he wants to give liberation, he will give. This is not a state of justifying whatever one is doing. It is a state of highest level of surrender where one says, I am nobody. Bhagwan is the Karta, Harta, Dharta, everything is Bhagwan, and so one lives in that Ananya Chintan. That is Prapatti. Kalpana ji, raise the hand now. You want to unmute and ask, you can unmute and ask.
Namaste, Swamiji. Is it possible, sometimes I think that I'm incapable of doing Bhakti Marg. I'm incapable of surrendering because my mind is always asking questions. So,
Are you
how does
asking
one
that surrender and questioning can't go together? Is that the question?
For me, yes.
So Arjun's example you should see, did Arjuna not ask questions? Surrender does not mean I don't have any questions. Surrender only means I drop my insistence, my resistance, and I am open to instruction. And when I am open to instructions, when I get doubts, I will ask. But my objective of asking the doubt is to know the truth. I have surrendered all the other options, all the other possibilities. Okay, I am asking question to prove myself, my intelligence, or to doubt. I mean, to know how much intelligent are you, or to put some other thought processes down. All those I have surrendered. I want to know the truth. With that intent, I have come. I am surrendering. I am open to instruction. Please give me guidance. So surrendering and questioning can go together, nothing wrong with that. Arjun does that. Now he asks so many questions. And in fact, in all the scriptures, you will find that in our Sanatana Dharma. Parikshit Raja has asked so many questions to Shukdev Maharaj. in Bhagavatam, in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it can go together.
Second question is, you said Agama Prakarana is Shruti Pradhana, right? And Vaitatya and Advaita are based on logic,
Yukti.
mostly.
Not mostly,
Yukti
fully based on
Pradhana.
logic, yeah.
Logic.
Because logic
And
is, sorry, 1 minute. Logic is Shruti Mata only. That logic is derived from the scripture only. It is not, one's independent logic. It is Shruti Mata's Tarka.
Okay. And Alata Shanti, where you said there are various objections to the teaching, that is based on Anubhuti, experience.
No, that
You
will
have
lead
to
to
experience.
Anubhuti. No, that will lead to
That will
Anubhuti.
lead
All
to
the
okay.
other standpoints, when we expose their contradictions, then the only thing left in the mind is Advaita is the truth, which one will finally come to realize.
Okay.
When
Thank
all
you, sir.
wrong notions are removed, Advaita reveals itself.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.